going? It's Grant
and Shelby
with the Garden of Eater, and today we're going to be doing the review Blast to the Past again on the shrimp spot into our journals, and we made it about halfway through last time, and we're just going to hopefully get through the rest of it tonight. No, I'm just kidding. This is, of course,
Layla,
aka the Quesadilla Massacre. She does not remember it, but the one and only. How you doing, Layla?
Good.
It's your first time on the live stream. She asked Miss Shelby if she was going to be doing it, and she said that she did not feel very well. So Mommy took a side one, and Layla stepped in. Shelby's going to be helping out behind the scenes. But got my little sidekick here for a little bit. So we are going to jump right into this, and got share screen, diving right back into it. All right, everything's working out good. So I believe we were on page 14 to start out with. Then we've got rid of the old blue diamond tank, and then started to add in some pintos. We got the axolotl, the original axolotl. And then we've got some orange-eyed blue tiger shrimp. I was still keeping these back then on inert substrate. And they just did not breed nearly as well as they do when we're keeping them on the Caridina substrate and Caridina parameters. And we used to breed a lot of the plecos back then too. And I try to keep a baby pleco in just about every single one of the shrimp tanks until about 2 inches. And then I noticed that the baby survival rate at the feeding hole tended to go down. You all right? You got something to say?
No, just sad.
Sad? Why?
Just the biggest.
The boy?
The axolotl.
Oh, yeah. The cat got him. And then we've got some Aurora tigers crossed with the Snow White. And these guys were F1, a lot of blue coloration to them. And then just the more and more into the generations we got, the less blue that came out. We got a buried blue jelly that's still holding some blue coloration. And then we've got some Snow Whites here. Not nearly as white as the Snow Whites we keep these days, but still pretty good quality for back then. And then we've got just a mix match of Taiwan bees here and Thai bees. And there's a pinto. We've got red Thai. I'm sorry, red Tang Thai, and a just like a normal Tang Thai right next to it with the red ram's horn. And then this is like the very first original shrimp tank that we set up. We've got a buried Snow White hanging out there underneath the log, and then some buried, some babies, red wine right there. And then I've got a stack full of boxes. Over 200 shrimp on their way to their new home. And then this is just like the same mixed Caridina tank. And we've got the Blue Bolt tank. I don't know if I told them last week or 2 weeks ago now the story about these Blue Bolts, but when I brought the tank home, you just started walking. And the bucket was put on this tray table, and then I had the tank filling up in the garage, and I had one of these tanks drip acclimating, so filling up the bucket with fresh shrimp water from our house, getting them used to the water, and you just had to figure out what was in the bucket, and you brought down the whole bucket. So I had 140 shrimp on the floor that we had to pick up, and that was a learning curve all on its own. So
What? I wanted to see what it was. Okay? Jeez. It's in the past.
So then we've got some red wines, pinto mix. This is just basically one of the only Caridina tanks that we had at the time. So I was throwing a lot of shrimp into that tank.
Mix match.
And then we've got the Cardinal tank. And I thought that I got a little bit of a blue ghost, but When you first turn the lights on to the cardinal Sulawesi's, they look a little bit bluer, especially the smaller ones can be a little deceiving, and you think you got a new morph of shrimp, and no, they're just stressed out. Nice picture of a red wine on a goose, but that's not nearly a good picture anymore. I thought that was a great picture for back then, though. And then the saltwater tank coming along, getting a little bit of algae there. I can see a little bit of bubble algae starting to form. And then what do we got here?
I thought that was a shrimp.
No, this is just dipping the toes into the salt water is what I was talking about. I don't know. I'm not going to dive in and trying to read too much of the articles, but some of the plants starting to grow out. Got a ivory mystery snail into the orange Neocaridina tank. Also got a little bit of the little baby bristlenose there.
Why did they call them orange when they're supposed to be yellow?
You think that's yellow?
Yeah.
Oh, that's orange. I'll show you yellow.
It's weird.
Oh, you might be colorblind. We got a red crystal shrimp on an Indian almond leaf because back in the day we actually used a lot of leaf litter in the tanks. And then we've got crystal red shrimp crossed with snow whites. This is one of the beginning projects, just barely thrown in to the mosh pit. And then we've got some crystal reds buried up, some orange eye blue tigers, crystal red, and there's got to be some blue dreams all in the same tank. I really was just throwing a bunch of shrimp into the same tank. I do like all of the Madagascar lace plants. We had a lot more of those back in the day. Some buried tangerine tigers and Michelin and Aurora Thai, lots of buried shrimp. And then we've got some fire red cherries, some cholla wood starting to break down. I'm sure somewhere in here we're going to see just a huge bomb of mulm.
Wait, go back up. See, that's like an orange.
That's an orange?
Yeah, it's
no,
like
that's
a red
red.
Orange.
That's red. You might be colorblind.
I'm not.
So you think that's yellow?
Yes.
I mean, it's a little yellow, but
where do you see there's orange in there?
What's this color?
Around it?
What's the color of the bucket?
Red. I mean, orange.
Oh, then here we got Shelby's Platinum Angel Fish. These things really look cool in the glow light. And those are one of Shelby's favorite angels.
So small.
And then some swords. We had a bunch of different fish back then. We were into a lot of different things. Crystal red shrimp, and then you think, what color is that? That's clearly red, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm just checking. If you're ever going to be a future shrimp judge, I got to make sure you're not colorblind. I'm serious. And some blue diamonds. This is what the blue diamond quality used to look like back in the day. Our picture on the website, I don't know if we upgraded it yet, but it used to be atrocious for a very long time. And we're really proud of where the line has come after all this years. Selective breeding to get there. Then we've got a brand new page, some pintos. I was just really mixing up everything. Here's an updated list of all the shrimp we had, up to 43. So this is November 19th, 2015. Wasn't even a judge yet for the contest. And then we've got, see, what color is that?
Yellow.
So now you see why the other ones are orange.
Oh, because that's a bright yellow.
Yeah, the other
one's
it's
like
still orange. It's just not as orange as we want it to be. But then we got the Dragon Ball. At one stage we had like a bunch of the kids coming over for either Jaden's birthday party or something. And I thought it would be cool to scatter the Dragon Balls throughout the house. Yeah, don't tell them where they are. It's a challenge. It's a scavenger hunt. Nobody ever finds all of them.
What? There was?
There's all of them. Yeah.
You didn't tell me there was a scavenger hunt.
Well, it's a secret scavenger hunt, and you can't compete. You live in it. It's for other
So?
people.
I am another person.
No, you belong in
Right
the
now,
house.
I'm Shelby. I am another person.
All right. The Cardinals got some crypts still hanging on in the Sulawesi tank. Those eventually pretty much wintered down to nothing and stopped growing, or the rabbit snails started eating them. Got some blue jellies. We do got some blue jellies going again. They are actually populating the 55-gallon tank quite well. I might even move those outside. I've been thinking of what to throw outside in the other empty IBC tote. But
Oh, I thought you meant really throw. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
no, I just toss it outside in the water. Yeah. The Madagascar lace plants. You like that?
Those. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the pattern.
And some crystal reds, red wine, blue bolts. These are the
blue
original
bolts.
blue bolt colony here.
Aren't those in my room?
You have the two main blue bolt from these, and then we also have some up in here in this tank right there. And then more crystal reds, and then here we have some red tigers. We're getting on to one of my first catastrophes here in the hobby pretty soon. Then we got the tangerine tigers with the blue dreams. I used to be a huge University of Florida's fan, so I thought that would be a good combination. Back when Tim Tebow was a football player for the University of Florida.
Wait. Go back to the blue and the yellows.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't that
Those
make
are
your
orange.
little... Oh. I'm not colorblind.
All right.
It's just they look similar.
All right. What were you gonna say about these?
I thought they like mixed into your little like key line or something like that.
No, not these ones. So these ones can't crossbreed. One's a caridina shrimp and one's a
They have to be the
neocaridina.
same type.
Yes, correct.
I forgot.
We got some orange-eyed blue tigers with some blue dreams. Or those are the blue diamonds. The other ones were the blue dreams.
You're telling me I'm telling
They're both the same blue. Don't get at me.
you gotta work on your names.
So we got crystal reds, then we got some Michelins here, and then we've got the first like aquascape kind of tank that I really tried at. I had a lot of people come over the house and they acted like this was like unbelievable. I was really happy with it. It still actually kind of survives. We broke it down into two of our tanks. So one side is one tank, the other side is another tank now.
That one?
Yeah, these two. And the plants, the moss and the boost and everything like that still might be tucked away in there underneath everything.
You just put the plants like you just let them go like Elsa did. Like she lets go everything. Like you just let it go, float around. I mean, you still do better now. Don't cry.
Then we got the blue bolt, some cardinal shrimp, another blue bolt, blue bolts, orange-eye blue tigers, some pintos, crystal reds, some Michelins, which is the crystal reds and the Taiwan bees. Starting to separate everything out, get selective breeding. And then another, this one's not nearly as good as the other one. I started to throw some things together. I'm not sure if this is one Shelby put together or I did. I can't remember at this time. And we had some nice rainbows. And then speaking of rainbows, our good supporter and friend, Gary at GK Aquatics, he is going to give out some Bosemi rainbows. Not these kind, but I'm just using that as a reference because it reminded me. But he's got 5 young aquarium strain Bosemi, 2 inches, shipping included. It's a $64 value. You can ship to all 48 mainland states. You can find him at the site gkafish.com. We're going to be giving those away next week, so that's just a little teaser.
Do you still have that tank?
No, not really. We tore this one down. That substrate became part of the grow bed out back. Yeah. Well, we'll have another giveaway later on tonight, but Gary will be giving that away, and we'll have more details on all of that for next week's live stream. Thank you, Gary. And then we've got some plumerias. We used to have over 500 of these trees, over 56 different varieties. These are like the flowers when you go to Hawaii. They make the necklace to make a lei. And I'm from Hawaii. My grandpa used to send over clippings that they would trim off on the golf course, and then we would cultivate them in our greenhouses. Now we've turned the greenhouse into, well, one of them into a turtle and Neocaridina pond house. The other one has one plumeria still hanging on, but we're pretty much going to turn it into your mud room, huh? The mud house. So that's what's going to go in there. You want to tell everybody what you do for the plants outside?
I help them make mud.
You mix the peat moss and the garden soil, and she goes
I don't
through.
know what they're called, okay?
Or you're going to learn next time. We're going to make sure you know which one's which.
I mean, there's some storage in my brain, but not that much.
You've got more. So we got the blue bolts with the Madagascar lace plant. I want to say rainbow because we've got the Madagascar rainbows up top. Michelin, and then the CPOs. We used to do a lot of crawfish, and then these are like the original red lilies, and I used to like call these like the sunsets. If you see the one right in the middle above the head of the orange one, it used to have like a little bit of yellowish orange color, and nobody ever saw any interest in them, and I was just kind of down on myself, and I let that colony go eventually. But the red Michelin tank, the mixed tank, we've got our first rabbit snail, I think, going on in that tank, and then some chocolates, and then the red tigers again, some tangerine tigers, and you can see how far our tangerine tigers have come. These guys are just quite dull. They kind of look like our green tigers. And then the orange-eyed blue tigers, which, what?
That looks green to you?
This kind of, like, the green tigers don't look green. They're not green. It's as green as it gets for a tiger, but that's not green enough. I understand. I'm not happy with it either. I'm not, okay? It's just what it is. What it is.
It is.
It's like the green spotted wild discus that we got from Dr. Anthony that are wild to Peru. There's not really any green to them, but it kind of looks green. It's green enough to call them green, but not really. All right. You feel how I feel then. So then we've got some chocolates again with the blues coming out. And then the cardinal tank, a bunch of little babies. You just had ice cream.
I know, but you're making me hungry for chocolate.
It was chocolate ice cream, though. And we've got some red cherries. And then you can see this is where the learning lesson kind of came in. I realized this bristlenose pleco was just a little bit too big for the entire colony. So eventually I learned my lesson and started to get them out around that size. The chocolates, see, just really not a lot of good coloration. Shrimp back then threw a lot of culls.
Like black.
Yeah. And then the blue diamonds. And we've got some Michelin still. It's a lot of repeats. And then the blue jellies would turn a little bit green depending on the food and algae grown in the tank. The red tigers are starting to breed. We've got some nice plants going on in here. It's like an underground. Oh, that's the Rongulus indica that we've got in this tank right here. It's one of my favorite plants. I've had it for a long time, and it just doesn't really ever do well for me. But We need to use CO2, but we got 2 CO2 fluval canister that use with the yeast and sugar. We'll be using those on some of our tanks here in the near future. So this is what the rack on the wall used to look like. You don't remember that?
No.
Yeah, so you saw the TV over there with 2 stands on opposite side and that white
All
entertainment
I
center.
remember is the brown big chair and the TV that Jaden always gets to play games
It wasn't even brown, it was blue. You might see it in some of the pictures. But like look what we got going on here, Layla. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 buckets, all being gravity all being gravity fed to do our water changes. My back is killing me to this day still because of it.
Oh, I thought that was a Home Depot bucket, but it's just like a let's do it bucket.
It's a Home Depot bucket.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, they switched the
It's
design?
let's do this. I'm sure we still have some of these buckets running around. And then we built a stand. That one is for the hallway.
What?
A little baby Layla, I think, right there. Or maybe little baby Jaden.
Is that a picture?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were just putting a baby picture like, yeah, climbing the stand.
No. And then we've got some blue diamonds. Are these the green emerald? No, these are the Aurora blue tigers. Oh, look how good they looked. Look how good they looked. They were stunning.
I like the green on the back.
Yeah, they had nice back lines and they were super dark. So, man, I wonder if we're going to see it. We've got another one of the planted tanks. This one is still, that's that tank right there.
Just more plants.
It's just grown over all the years. I don't even think most of these plants on the, excuse me, on the right-hand side are still there. But all those crypts and everything else is. And then we've got 2 more stands going up in the hallway.
Why is blue?
That's a primer before we put the black on.
Oh.
And then we've got the stands in the hallway before the tanks are actually set up. The tanks are on there, though.
Wait, hold up. I don't know if it's upside down.
It's sideways. I wasn't very good at posting back then. I really didn't care. I was like, you can turn your phone sideways.
Car.
Yeah.
The car.
I used the car for reference. It's a full-size car. So those tanks are massive.
No, you didn't compare it to a real car. That's a baby toy.
And we got a Michelin baby. More Michelin babies. And we got the lights on in the hallway, starting to set them up. Starting to figure out how to alter some of the pictures, but not all of them. I'm still working on it. And then the mix mash tank. You can just see how dirty the bottom of that one is. That's our first Caradina tank.
So all those shrimp are mixed and the tank is smashed.
The tank is still there in the hallway. It's just super dirty on the bottom. So we ended up filling up all the substrate in. And then we have the Blue Bolt tank. Still mixing up all the shrimp.
It has a process through it.
Yeah.
Step by step.
Mm-hmm. Crystal reds. Red cherries. Still adding tanks.
Ooh. That just looks like an ice spot for me. I don't even know why.
So top up here are orange eye blue tigers, and the bottom are tangerine tigers. Moving them around to more tanks. And then the Aurora blue tiger colony. It's just a lot of repeats of the same tanks. And then this is the oh no, these are orange lilies. I thought those were the sunsets for a second. And then here's like the first like scape that I thought I was like really getting on to like where I had my own style, where I felt I liked it. Shelby hated it, but I was comfortable doing. This is it. This is where I started. You could do better than this.
I'm agreeing with Shelby. I mean, it's okay.
You do not get to call her Shelby. She's mom. Do you understand? Strike one. Two more. And you're out of here.
You have strikes on your name, on the names for your shrimp.
So
You got 3.
we've upgraded the Sula SA tank to the 40 gallon. This is still running today, but we're using it for Shelly's. And then we've got some 10 gallons here. Oh no, these are 10 gallons in the hallway. This is before we even set up the 20 gallons. I was wasting space. So that has been improved. And then I don't know what I was watching. I thought it was funny. I think it's Dexter. I don't know.
I think you guys were watching the doctors or something.
I don't know. But still got the bucket going on up here.
Oh, I remember that setup.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought there was going to be something about the TV show in it. It was a waste of time. Sorry. And then cleaning out the 190 gallon tank. This one was another catastrophe in the works. So I'm going to see a lot of work. Got to enjoy it for like a year, and then catastrophe.
A year?
Yeah. Picked it up for a deal though. I got a 190 gallon tank for like $175. So, and then I got green Volti. I don't know if this was the first or second time we got these. I believe this is while we were touring Imperial Tropics, and I got to get these from Mike. And the Michelin tank, or mixed match tank, I'm sorry. These are the Michelins. Yellow backlines. And then a lot of the same stuff from before. Starting to fill in the gaps with the tank. And then we've got some iguanas. Do you remember us having iguanas?
No, but I wish we still had them.
No. We're not allowed. We're not allowed to have them. So, but we could get a baby sloth one day. And then starting to add a lot of corals to that little tiny tank.
Like jellyfishes.
And building the stand for the 190 gallon tank. See, the couch is blue, not brown. Told you. That's strike 2. That's strike 2. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to count that as a strike. But then we've got the L-shaped leather white couch and shorter rack, wooden floors, the white entertainment center. And our house has come a long, long way. Our TV is now mounted there, and TV is now there instead of the fireplace mounted shelf. Michelin tanks really coming along. Or the red wine tank now. I think I've actually moved all the Michelins out of there. The mixed tank gaining some. You're on the wrong side. You're elbowing my arm.
No elbowing me.
Hopefully the pictures start getting better here soon. Snow Whites. I mean, some of them aren't bad. This one's not the worst photo, but others are just like, why did I think that was okay to post? Then we have the glass shrimp catchers. This is a trip down memory lane for sure.
What? Did you have like a cup on the end of it, like the stick, and you go, okay, I got you, and then put it near the glass?
So it was like a really long glass tube that was like that skinny, and then on the end it had like a little bucket that was also made out of glass that was like shaped like a net. So you would get the shrimp into that, and then you would be able to catch it. It would hold water into it. You could take pictures in it. You could like put it up against the glass like I would do here, and the shrimp could just like kind of run around in there.
Looks
And
like
you could take pretty good photos that way with it. But man, they broke. I mean, they came in broken sometimes. Eventually, we just got used to the other shrimp nets and got just cleaned them out and stuff like that.
Looks like a hamster running around the little carrot
Wheel,
Yeah.
hamster wheel. Then we've got another Sulu SA tank in the making. And then I gave Shelby credit for this one. She did scape this one.
It looks good. It's just you gotta add plants.
The
For
Sulawesi
holes.
tanks, they just didn't do very well with plants. And then the plants that did okay, the rabbit snails ate them. So that's why there's the tanks at the bottom by the dinner table. There's no plants down in the bottom because the snails eat them.
You can talk. I'm gonna go look.
Yeah. Then this is the Sulawesi tanks that we had already going in the 40-gallon tank, getting recycled. Some rabbit snails. Painted the stand. Shelby paints all the stands, and then this is how much room we got done in the shrimp room. Just cruising through everything. This is before we threw up all the stands and changed Jaden's bed. It's still red. You remember that?
Oh yeah. But in the back of the near the dining room table, there's no plants in them, but like one of the tanks have full plants, and I don't think there was the sand there.
So that tank has moss, and there's no rabbit snails in it.
When are you gonna announce the winner from the last live stream?
All right. Have Mom write it down for me and bring it to me.
Okay.
So then we got more mixed match. Snow White babies on top of the sponge filters are always cool to look at. And then we got shrimp in the tank that escaped. And look, the black, like that, I thought that was a good picture. There's like probably 4 shrimp in that photo, and you can only see maybe 1.
That looks like a whole giant shrimp.
And we got the first truckload of aquariums. We got to go to Petco tomorrow and buy as many tanks as we can. I don't know if the sale's still going on. Maybe somebody can fill me in on that on the live stream. Maybe it ended already and we're not going to go to Petco. But if the sale's still going, we got to go buy as many tanks as we can tomorrow. That's the mission.
I mean, you can never stop saying you're the tank man.
So, first load of tanks, Michelins. No, that's a mixed match. There's some stripes in there. I'm just gonna call it the party tank. Blue bolts. We got the pure red lines. Starting to work on those now. And the first ADA, the original Caradina tank right there.
Wait, go back to that picture. I feel like you still had that tank, but different, more plants.
It's in the hallway. It's the red moss. It's the red moss tank. Yeah.
Yeah, because I seen that little clip thing.
You said something earlier, and you're like cracked, and I'm like, no, it's still in the hallway. All right. Drum roll, please. All right. You need to work on your drum roll.
I know. Okay.
All right. So, the total amount of aquariums in the house is 525. That's total aquariums, not just running in water and everything like that. That's empty reptile tanks, shrimp tanks, fish tanks, the whole shebang, but glass aquarium tanks or acrylic. The total is 525 aquariums. But I just realized I might be wrong because there's that tank there, and I didn't count that tank. I think we have to come back to this. Have your mom come back with 526 and double check that.
Wait, what is that supposed to be for?
I did a contest, and the person that guessed the proper amount of tanks that we have in the house, but I can't even count right. I'm looking at another tank right there in the face. We've got one of Harley's Micro Ready Reef Aquariums.
Did you count my tank from my last year Florida State Fair?
Yep.
That I won.
Yes, best of show right here for youth. All right. Darmesh beat me and your mom for adults, but congratulations.
I still don't get it. I mean, his tank is nice.
No, we're not going to talk about that here.
I'm not saying anything mean.
No, I know.
I'm like, he uses it every time. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Like really like his tank.
It's really coming to blossom. It's filled out nicely. So then we got crystal blacks. I thought you were gonna say something about my tank.
No.
And then we've got a lot of worms in these aquariums. I was feeding shrimp all the time, but these are the normal tiger shrimp. I really like these. That's why I try to recreate those from scratch with the red tigers crossed with the orange-eyed blue tigers. And the fire red cherries starting to pop. Buried red tiger. Starting to build the stand in Jaden's room. So we got the one stand. We got tanks inside tanks, tanks on the rack. Just getting them out of the way so we can build. And that's what we're about to do. Throw a bunch of tanks all around random spots in the house until we can get the stands done and out of our way. Okay. And then that's the original Caradina tank. We got cholla wood in there now. I added another piece of wood in there that I think I eventually took out. And then we've got a bunch of alder cones in the bottom. I don't like that either.
Wait.
Yeah.
Did you land that on what is that red stuff? Did you lean it on Jaden's little
No, that's
side?
his counter. I removed that out of there.
Oh.
Or that's on top of where his bed is before we put the rail there.
Yeah. Because I knew there was a rail there.
So then we got the 40 stand done. Starting to work. Got the 36 10-gallon tank stand done. That's still the stand that's in his room today. We didn't paint any of these stands back then. Wish we had. Regret that now because we had to totally redo that entire room once the flood underneath his floor put like 2 inches of hot water while we were at the Triple Crown. And some wild Neo Caradina shrimp, red wines. And we got Pearl with her puppies. So one of these is Thea, and she should be easy to spot because she's got the little black ear. She's probably tucked away
Right
under
there.
there or there.
Little back here. Black here.
No, that's a black eye. That's Moo Moo.
Oh.
So this is where we got Shrimp and Thea. There's Thea, little Thea with the little black ear.
Cute. Where's Shrimp?
Shrimp's just the biggest, all solid white one. I thought it would be funny to name the biggest one Shrimp. It's funny.
He's the biggest man in town.
That might be Shrimp. Because he was keeping me and your mom up. And he probably didn't know how much ruckus he was making. He couldn't hear. He's deaf.
Probably sounded like a pig.
We've got one of our first ghost bees. Again, still have the plecos in the tanks. More plecos. Assassin snails.
Do you still use those leaves?
No, not anymore.
Oh.
They decay and they break down and they just create a mess in the aquarium.
Oh, I like one time when you told me to make those little fake leaves to put in your little tank.
Yes.
Yeah, I like
That was a lot of work. Those probably turned to powder in like a month.
But it was a good picture.
It was a good video, but nobody wanted to watch it. It wasn't like a good one on YouTube, but I liked it.
You should watch my dad's videos and subscribe.
And then we got some buried cardinals in the new Salwase tank. One of my favorite pictures of the tank, Petco with a truck full of aquariums. About to see if it's raining tomorrow. If it's not going to rain tomorrow, we'll bring the truck. We'll see how many tanks we can fit in the truck.
I mean, the rain can clean the tanks. I mean, hey.
I don't like driving with the truck in the rain with tanks. They slide in the back of the truck easier.
I mean, they get to have some fun at least.
Well, they break. And I don't feel like securing them. If it's dry, we can drive from Petco to the house, maybe tie down the tanks, but they don't slide too much.
What happens if it's dry? and then it rains. Check the weather on your phone.
I will. That's what I said. So I can say this one right here is probably shrimp because he's got the biggest head, and it's safe to say. So the bottom left-hand corner. Mom's on the screen.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, boy. And then we got our list. A new list of shrimp. Still at 46. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was at 44 before, but now we're at 46. I've got some old school crystal red shrimp that are throwing some of the bad pattern. Yeah, it's a Disco Beast sticker.
I remember those. They're cool.
We still have one somewhere. There's like one right here somewhere. Right there. Bam.
Oh, yeah. Disco Beast.
There's like 5 or 6 of them throughout the house. Probably we had a lot of them. He gave a sticker out for like every $100 you spent on his website. He had like different levels.
Just for a sticker?
Yeah.
That's weird.
And then people wanted to know what shrimp we had available, so that was the list or the reason why we didn't have the shrimp available or like an ETA. I'm just getting tired. Can you hold it up for me? No. Just thank you.
I can scroll it for you.
Oh, you can scroll it for me. All right.
Do you want to go down?
No, see, this isn't gonna work. I need to work with my. It'll be fine. So we got some shadow pandas going in the escape petrified wood tank. Orange Rillies. We do have a good colony of orange Rillies going now, so we might actually have these for sale this year.
Is that one of the pattern plants? Oh.
No, it's a crypt. There's no discoloration. Do you wanna get in it? If you can weasel your way in without stepping on a cord, you can come to this side.
Why does he have to come in?
Because he wants to.
And because I can.
All right, so we've got red cherries and some blue diamonds in here. I'm trying to make red Rillies with the blue bodies again. And then we've got the cat that we rescued before I even thought it was possible to be pregnant. It had babies. It was so tiny. The babies were so tiny. Found the cat on the side of the house back when I did landscaping, and you wouldn't let me find a home for it. You and your mom, you teamed up.
It
Me to
was
keep
so
it.
cute.
The thing was already pregnant probably because like 2 weeks later had a bunch of
It
babies.
should just be a whole terror.
I just thought it was fat.
It wasn't even fat.
It looked fat.
A blue diamond tank, tangerine tigers, red cherries. I'm scrolling really fast. I'm sorry.
Oreo swirl.
Yeah.
Oreo stand.
No, it looks like a
thing
cinnamon
invented.
roll.
Sassa snails with some snowballs. I don't think we've seen those yet. Page 21. We are almost an hour into it. Nine tanks cycled with SL Aqua soil are ready to be stocked. This is your room before we painted it and turned it into your room. And these little tiny balls, these things were funny. They were sold at like a premium price, and they were just like, they were just like little tiny shrimp baby hides.
Looks like a big little white flower.
Yeah. You can see I bought the Sea Chem cubes, the mineral balls here at the time, and you don't need any of that.
Is that a spiky ball thing too?
That might just be like a piece of substrate with algae growing on it. I'm not quite sure.
plain tank.
So, got some orange tibies and one female pure red line in that tank going. It's just uncycled. Some red wines, some crystal reds. Getting those into their new tanks, and some tangerine tigers. And we've got some crystal reds, crystal blacks, blue bolts, red wines, red tibies. It's the orange tibie tank. And the first time getting the shrimp lollies. No, Layla, you go get the water. You're on that side. Jaden's gonna trip and hit one of the cords out. So
Face first.
actually, Jaden, go behind me and turn the internet. Plug it in like you did for the Xbox.
Oh, yeah. That's easy.
And then we've got a nice, what I thought were pure Taiwan bees. And now we have a little bit of pintos showing up in the mix. So, what do you want, sweetie?
I already opened it.
Oh, I don't know why you're handing it to me.
It was on the table.
I'm sorry. We've got the Aurora ties. These things are looking really good in the first 2 generations, but then they really don't show that blue coloration much longer. Aurora Blue Tiger. Is that a leech in the extreme red photo? Oh no, that's just a worm. Got a big old clump of booze. And this didn't do very well in the cardinal tank. This is like a very small cardinal tank, 5 gallon. I got 1 buried shrimp and then didn't have any babies come out of this tank. So it never went smaller than 10 gallons again. What?
Why don't you show pictures of the backyard?
I don't think the backyard is even set up yet.
I mean, you should show them the plants, little things, in the greenhouse. Inside the little things.
I think we had sold the business when I used to do landscaping, and I was just like a hermit, and I stayed inside for like 2 years, and I didn't go back there very much. I think you'll see some photos. And then this is the Blue Bolt tank. And starting to just throw together a bunch of different wood and booze. The petrified wood tank starting to grow out with the Monte Carlo. Oop, sorry. And then the 55-gallon tank has a bunch of tank tie in it. And just a lot of repeat. Thought there would be more upgrades and more new things to show throughout this, but it's a lot of photos. Like, I was so proud of these blue bolts. This is a better photo of the blue bolts so far. But lots of Indian catappa leaves. Still have the plecos. And then starting to add a few different types of plants and stuff like that into some of the aquariums. Nice picture of the cardinal Silurate shrimp. So, like, first 2 generations of the Aurora tie were the best. And these guys are what everybody wants when you cross Aurora tigers. I don't know why or how Mom does this. My mom is killing me. I have not played video games on the computer or anything. I feel like
I can scroll for you, just when you talk about a certain ship, I can just scroll back.
no, it's fine. We got the ghost bees are doing pretty good now. You can see the pure red lines are a lot higher quality than just the normal crystal reds. And I know these are just normal crystal reds because there's not ghost bees, golden bees in it. All right, hold on, scoot over a little bit. I put my leg this way. You guys got me cramped. And then the Shrimp Daddy sticker on that one. That was a horrible product line to try and use. I started it out in just this little 7.5 gallon tank, and it just used up so much product. It worked, but it was just very expensive and not needed. I got the tanks better set up in Jaden's room. Still no lights or anything like that. Using the natural, well, there's some lights off on the left-hand side, but getting a lot of natural light off of the tanks or the sun in the south, and just didn't seem like the tanks needed a light at all in that room at that time. Bottom row definitely needed it, but we threw all Neocaridina down there, and that's when I learned after like a year, you definitely need lights because all those shrimp lost color. So, blue diamonds, and then got asked to be the judge for the first international shrimp contest. You laughing at me?
Yeah, the picture is just funny.
Oh.
I'm laughing over here too.
You don't look
I'm
good
sorry.
in white t-shirts.
Oh, the
Your
white
hair's
t-shirt's
like-
the problem.
You changed.
Your hair's like on the other side. It's just
Why are you
Like-
making noise expression?
you just look better with your hat on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you look better than before.
Thanks. I know if I need some serious criticism, I can always count on you guys. But it was a real honor being asked to judge the first international contest held here in the United States. At the time, we had like 50-something varieties of shrimp and 150 tanks. So I had a lot of experience under my belt, even though we had only been doing this for 2 years now. And then some shots from above. Oh, maybe I'll talk about these. So the red wines, shadow pandas, Taiwan bees. These are a mix mosh of tangerine, tang tai hybrids.
Did you put on the blue light? Because it's just giving me the blue vibes.
No, those boost leaves actually had like a blue metallic sheen to them.
You still have them?
I'm not sure what tank they're in, but they're somewhere. I think there's a tank in Mom's bedroom that still has them.
I'll look for them tomorrow.
And fire red cherries, and then these are the Aurora ties, and then we've got the sump getting done, and the tank on the side here for the 190 gallon tank. Got all the substrate for it. I think it was 10 bags that we used for the sump. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 bags for a 190 10 gallon tank. Those bags cost us $45 per bag, so $450 in just substrate to do a Caridina 190 gallon aquarium.
That's money.
Yeah.
I'd rather get like a big bag than small bags for a lot of money.
Those are the biggest bags I could get at the time before Brightwell sold bigger bags. But who's that?
I have no clue, Layla.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
what was I
My
doing?
finger's like this.
You're probably playing video games, and Layla was like, "What's Dad doing?" So she was more concentrated
My
on
finger's like.
what I had going on.
No, in the background it looks like it's
Oh,
playing.
what's
Oh.
this, Layla? Would that be pictures of outside?
The down one looks like duckweed.
Yeah, so got all of these plants sent to me for free, basically. Didn't know they were invasive. We no longer have this water hyacinth, but it was one of Shelby's favorites for sure because it threw out a lot of purple
I
flowers.
thought her favorite.
It was great.
I thought her favorite was the other one back.
Her
over
favorite
there.
is anything purple almost. So when it has purple flowers and it throws a lot of flowers, your mom really enjoyed it. It's just you're not allowed to have it, so we no longer have that. We used to grow a lot of dwarf baby tears, and this is a 1 foot by 1 foot cross section right there. We used to trade that to Han Aquatics, and then I had my buddy Jimmy come over and give me a hand to reseal the aquarium. Just note that this side did not fail ever. This was a good side, and it looked like the only side that needed to be sealed. We got the sump all plumbed up, starting to flood, and then tell her that afterwards. Distracted me. And then we've got a picture of the tank being flooded. We got water in the tank. I don't know why we don't have more substrate in the aquarium yet. We got the Alita pump. I'm not sure if this is our first one or not, but it's probably our bigger one. I got lava rock in one side, and then we've got aqua soil on the other. It's doing like a freshwater refugium. And then we've got some substrate finally going in the 190 gallon tank. Might have flooded it a little bit too fast. And we got blue bolts. I was really proud of that one on the left hand side there. That was the male stud. The Thai bees, Taiwan bees, Thai bees, ghost bees, crystal shrimp, crystal bees.
Oh, that's in Jaden's room.
What, these?
No, the
Alita?
yeah,
Yeah.
on the top of the tank.
We actually have two of them.
Oh yeah, it's right there.
No, not that.
That one's
That one's an
different.
80. We have two of these.
The one in your room, or is it different?
It's probably
The one
there.
in our room is a 40. It might be the one in the garage.
Maybe my room. No, not my room.
Yes, sir.
And then this is back in the day when I still used controller valves. I think I still have some of those in the garage. If anybody's looking for those, I can sell those for cheap. We got the plumbing done for the sump. Now we've got water in the entire tank. We've got wood in there. That wood took forever to sink, like eons. I couldn't believe how long that wood stayed floating for. I thought, for sure after like 2 weeks that would have been sunk because of how strong, heavy it was. What'd you say?
What is that?
Oh, somebody else entirely.
That already was heat.
Oh, those other people are users that use this form. And then some skeleton key. Used to have some really nice boosts back in the day. That just never did well underwater and eventually just melted to nothing. And the Tang Tai tank is really starting to boom. And then the wood still not float or sunk, so starting to plant it and look at those huge Madagascar lace plants.
What?
And I got some more petrified wood. Started to lay out another aquarium. I don't know why I was such a fan of this at the time. And then some Michelins, crystal reds, Aurora ties, crystal blacks. I'm noticing now a little bit of red glow coming off of this food. Talked to the Bloomfields, found out that there's some red beet and another ingredient in the product that makes the food dye a little bit red as well. So I actually like that. I think it's pretty cool. It gives a good look to the tank. And then we've got some more blue bolts and a lot of blue diamonds now starting to pop. And then I'm going to start getting really selective on breeding these out, selective grading those.
I was expecting a lot of green shrimp, not blue.
I don't even think I have green shrimp yet.
What? I
Yeah.
thought you had green shrimp in my room.
Yeah, but like those aren't that old.
Doesn't matter about age. It matters about color.
I didn't have green that back then, so
Oh, this is back then? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot.
so in 2016, I don't think we even had green Neocaridina yet.
What was your favorite color? Blue?
Back then, yeah, but no, I had the green Hulks, but they didn't stay green, so it was very
Like yellow?
it was no they turned black, so it was very upsetting.
It's weird.
And then we got the new logos, which are the old logos now, and then somebody else's logo asking for suggestions. I was like, what was that? That was never a prototype. Cardinal shrimp, some pintos, Taiwan bees, cardinal. It's 25. No comments like that. Black King Kongs and pandas, and then green jade. Finally, a green shrimp. There you go. You could have just waited.
I like it.
And the Aurora tie, Shadow Pandas, and Black King Kong Aurora ties. And then, like, not all the greens are green. Back in the day, some of them were yellow, some of them were blue. We got the blue bolts. Planted the back of the 190 gallon tank. That's what it looks like from the front. And then these guys were popping out of the Aurora ties, but again, after a couple generations, these guys just did not look that well. The Aurora Blue Tigers. And this tank's really starting to fill out. And then this is something that we used to do before we did all this. Oh, not we, but I used to do landscaping. So this was one of the projects that we were responsible for removing everything. So the sod, the bushes, the trees, the roses, everything basically that's growing in this photo left of the pavement on the corner there. It is all planted by us before we did shrimp full time. This is what I did full time. So nice St. Augustine grass, but we got some tangerine tigers. I'm not sure whose YouTube video that is. With the blue bolts, and like so, here's another example of the green jades when they first came in the United States. Some green color, but some yellow, some blue. So it took a while to. That's a green jade right there in the very beginning. So it took some time to get the yellow and the blue coloration out. Lots of culling. Really had to breed those guys a lot to get the green, but there was some green in it. Almost looks like there was an orange-eyed one right there, but probably black pupils still, just white around the eyes. And then got a buried one. That tank's starting to fill out with the plants. And then we got another little escape going on. I'm not sure if Shelby did this one or if I did. Can't remember now. And then one thing I like about Boost is they produce flowers underneath the water. We got the Madagascar lace plant blooming. That produced some flowers. The original axolotl. Missoura, red wine, red cherry, black tivy, ghost bee, red wine. Black King Kong, red pinto, shadow pandas, spotted red pinto, red wine, blue bolts, zebra pinto, red hollow-eyed ghost bee, baby black king Kong, aurora tide, crystal blacks. These are blue diamonds more than likely.
And you blew something.
Pinto, just a lot of shrimp. A lot of the same shrimp, nothing new. Wannabe tibies or fancy tigers, but before I even got good fancy tigers. And then we got to the actual shrimp contest. So we judged, I don't know how many categories now, but I think I entered 6 categories and there was a total of like 14 categories. So I think I judged 8 and entered 6. They had 2 judges for every category. And both Nico and Mo were the other judges, and they both entered shrimp as well. So none of us judged the shrimp categories that we entered in. So between the 3 of us, we were able to judge the whole contest and didn't conflict on, judging our shrimp too high in our own categories or something like that. So took home first place with, oh no, sorry, this is third place. No, second place. Can't even read. Second place with the blue bolts. First place with the black tiger, orange eye. And I thought I got third place or something too. Oh no, it's in category 3. That's what I read. I'm sorry. So 2 awards, and then there's little Jaden, little Layla, Shelby, myself, and Chris Luca. Let's see. You're at the first international shrimp contest.
Where's you?
That's me.
Not live.
Is that your bun?
Bun?
Look, there's a little bun on
No,
you.
that's the shrimp eye.
Yeah. It looks like I got a bun, huh?
Yeah. I'm like, is that like Houston or something?
And then these are the shrimp that I brought home, or we brought home. We spent $800 on these guys, and one of them died. So pretty much by the time we got home, it was $200 per shrimp for 4 of them. It was a lot of money. But we've made that back. We sell a lot of fancy tigers, and that's off of those original 4 that we got in the very beginning. And then we brought home some aquariums from the contest, and I learned a thing or two about aquascaping. I really like this tank. I don't think Shelby was feeling it. I really like this aquarium, but I ended up tearing it down before I ever filled it up with water. What?
Go back to your first tank that you showed.
Yeah.
That looks like a big version of your mini tank that the little mini tank that you made out of that.
Yeah.
Almost.
This tank is still set up in the kitchen. The turtle's in it.
Oh.
Yeah, that looks like the frog tank that we used to have.
And then we got the blue bolts. Here's the tank.
What is
That's the tank.
Oh.
Petrified wood that I set up. See, I did get a third place. What was the third place in?
Here, I'll show you
I
my
gotta scroll back up now. Hold on. Yeah, third place with the red cherries. See? So, our red cherries placed in the first international shrimp contest. I didn't even know that.
That's cool.
Well, I did know that. I just forgot. Oh, green jade babies. Filling out the tank. And then I added and crushed up some of the other petrified wood to fill out that tank a little bit better.
Is that a marble?
These are some of the Aurora Blue tigers before he took them out. Marble? That's a snail.
It looks so clear.
Yeah. They start to deteriorate. Tibies. More Tyvies. That's the fancy red tigers that we brought home. So I paid $200 for that shrimp right there. Some of the hollow-eyed ghosts, some of the green jades are starting to look really nice now. Nice color on those. Mixed cull package going out. And that's another one of the $200 fancy tigers. And then I entered that, I guess, into the bull show at the Tampa Bay Aquarium Society. Did we get a new winner?
No. She
No.
said we're gonna announce that next live stream,
Okay.
and she thinks she should recount.
Okay. I will recount. This is a good. Man, I'm trying to think of where we got this. I think it was Global Pet Expo, and we brought home a bunch of this Dragonstone. Filled up the entire
It sucked.
counter. What sucked?
Dragonstone.
Why?
What
do you mean?
She got mad at it.
Why?
Remember the last tank that she did over there, and she got mad because of it,
No,
and she didn't like it.
no, I don't think you remember
We met our
correctly.
Dragonstone buddies.
And then we got Planet Tanks going on, Pogo's Hell for Eye, Red Wines. We got some of the babies coming from the safaris, Ghost Bees, Nanashi, Red Ghost. I don't know what I'm showing there. And then we've got the rabbit snails. So this pattern right here where it's got this little tooth and then tiger stripes in the back and
What
the
is
white
that?
mask is Nanashi.
That sounds like Kakashi for Naruto.
Does. Pure red lines. Some Tai B. Starting to plant more tanks in. Red tiger with some Azuras. And then escape this tank. Going to enter that one into the Aquarium Beautiful contest. Getting that tank ready for global. Some blue jelly, green Hulk coloration trying to hold on. What color do you think this is, Jim?
Yellow.
You think these are yellow?
It's mixed with yellow and orange.
So what's this one right here?
Orange.
All right, so these would be all orange. You don't mix yellow and orange together. So if you're looking at this group right here, it'd be an orange Neocaridina tank.
Orange.
What are these?
Yellow.
All right, see, now it's clear difference.
Orange. Yellow. Yellow.
And now we have our little in Denver with Joe's Shrimp, Joe's Aqua, where he shipped all of his shrimp from Thailand and
So a lot of shrimp.
Taiwan, not Thailand. And we picked them up from the airport and shipped them out to his customers.
They look like candy canes.
Yeah, that's where they get their name candy canes from. They're red crystals, but they do have the nickname candy cane. And then this whole import-export thing was right when we sold our landscape business, and we were able to decide if we want to do the homebred route and save up our money and go through with that, or we could spend all of our money and basically risk it for the biscuit. You doing funny signs behind my back?
No.
All right. Risk it for the biscuit and try and get ahead and import a ton of shrimp into the house. And instead, Joe contacted us and said that his facility in San Francisco had to be redone with all brand new substrate. And he saw that we just got done cycling a bunch of tanks and we were ready to stock them with new shrimp. And it was a good experience for us to see the import business firsthand without spending any of my own money, and it's definitely not something we wanted to take and do. If the airports were a little bit closer to our house, maybe it would be a little bit better, but every minute is crucial with that, and just being an hour away from the nearest airport, and that wasn't even an airport where they wanted to uh, directly send the shrimp from Taiwan, so it just didn't work out for us. And this is another tank. I like this tank a lot, but
You did good.
I can see now why it wasn't that good of a tank. It wasted so much substrate right in the front of the tank. It is not
I
good.
mean, it's good, but
It looks good, but it's bad.
It's just one of those rules where you've got a canvas and the front of the aquarium is your canvas, and you just basically wasted it with a black whole canvas wasted basically in your view. So it's distracting, and it's not something you want in an aquascape. Then we've got a lot of the fancy red tigers are really starting to come out. Starting to work on those, get some babies. It's crazy how expensive those shrimp were back then. We got Daryl from DET Aquariums, who eventually sold us his shrimp room. Then we've got some more photos from outside.
That looks like a pool.
Yeah, we had these big, I think there were 600-gallon ponds above ground, and we ended up selling those, but we used them for a little bit for some turtles. And then some orange neos, ghost bees, Thai bees, Misuras, tangerine tiger, and red tiger. Pinto, more pintos, yellow neos, chocolates, red cherries, green jades, yellow neos. A lot of repeats here. Random photos is legit the post here. So just a lot. There's a nice green Hulk coming through. Small Aurora tie showing some good coloration. Golden bee. The green Hulks, because we used the same Taiwan bees that we got that had the green Hulk genetics to make our pintos. And then the green jades, green Hulk, red tigers, fancy black tigers, red wines. If you're getting tired, buddy, you can go lay down. Then we got some white orchids. We got some breeding white orchids, and actually made this post, and someone from Brazil saw this, ended up contacting me, and picked those up before I could really get those breeding out. Lots of crystal shrimp still, blue bolts and red wines tucked in there as well. Black King Kong's extremes. And starting to try and edit some photos and get better at the photography, but still, it's trash. Nothing really good. The red Rillies, tangerine tigers, lots of shadow pandas, more yellows, the white orchids, more of the Disco Bee stickers. Got an Elite 80 now. We got 2 of those in the house running. And getting shrimp ready for shipping. What are you writing down? Are you taking notes? Shrimp names? Oh
So
man,
you
look
can
at
find them
you.
around the house.
Oh yeah?
It's like a scavenger hunt.
You gotta give me some space, buddy. You keep
It's like a
needing me.
scavenger hunt. I mean, find these around the house.
Oh, good luck. Some of the names are misleading. We got a mushroom growing in the dry start tank. This is the teddy bear cholla wood. It was massive. Some purple alternate ricci, or however you say it. Madagascar lace plants came out clutch in this plant though, in this tank, because whenever we wanted to catch some of the shrimp, we would just run it through the net, and then got the planted cave tank all done. All the plants in this tank are really growing out nicely, but just a waste of space. I see that now. Also, the plant size to proportion for the hardscape was just not good. I think I'm only going to make it to 30, and then we'll join in the chat.
Okay.
And the Planet tank, the 190 gallon tank, is really starting to come out nice. The orange Rillies, red Tibies, red cherries, red Rillies. We got some pitcher plants along, as well as the moving mimosa plant. This is the non-aquatic one, the sensitive plant. I used to be so happy with these dull quality pictures. I don't know what's going on. My arm is killing me. Lots of blue bolts and tangerine tigers. Lots of little blue jellies. Shadow pandas. Some nice painted fire reds. Some more fire reds. And another Dragon Ball with the yellow Neos, orange Rillies. The plants are starting to really take off. We used to call these a Dr. Seuss plant there. I can't remember the name now. Some type of pogostemon, I think. And then more of the blue boots. See it there? It's really starting to grow.
I like
Narrow leaf Java fern. The Pogos Helferi on the bottom, and the Repens up top really starting to fill out the cave. Axolotl nice and healthy with the worms. Stop that, buddy. And then the petrified wood tanks filling up with the Rondulus. And then we got some Stardust. This is Stardust shrimp. You got that one yet?
Oh, no.
And then the Riccia. And a wild. What is that? Yeah, it looks like a wild.
Wait, that's a shrimp?
Wild Neocardina. We're filling up tanks for the Florida State Fair. This is the Aquarium Beautiful contest that we do every year. Like Layla mentioned, she won Best of Show last year, but this year I won Best of Show. There's different Best of Shows for adults and kids. This was before the kids could even enter, though. And then we've got our own YouTube videos, so adding green jades to the newly cycled aquarium. And then we got a buried white orchid, Pinto, buried Stardust. At one time, I thought that somebody else was going to beat me to breeding these first in the United States. And I thought that this was my first buried Stardust. But then, like, 2 or 3 days later, I found out I had babies, so I ended up beating the other guy to having babies first in the United States. And we got the Nikon camera, the D500. This was not the right one, so this was the first camera we got, and it just was not that good. The focus just was not well enough for the feet. The feet were just so fast. So Michelin, since Rongelus plant right here with the crazy leaf structure, this was one of my favorite ones for aquascaping. It's right here too. And then I try to fix this scape with different plants, but really what needed to be done was all the substrate in the bottom right hand corner needed to go. But I did like the two tanks kind of side by side like that. I started to do a dry start scape with the other petrified wood tank. We got Pearl on the floor. And then I had a buddy who was making an acrylic tank, so he sent me that to get started. And the green jade on some Riccia. Some Michelins, or some golden bees, tie bee, red wine. I'm starting to try and figure out some scaping methods. The path right here was way too big, but I just kind of liked parting the sands and doing two different color substrates. That was more of what I was trying to do and learn from there. Baby, and one of the dwarf blue crayfish, but they don't always look. No, that's crawfish. And those were doing really well for us until we brought home some chocolate gouramis, and it wiped out that entire tank. And these were one of my favorite shrimp that are no longer really in the hobby, at least not in the United States, but these are leopard tiger shrimp, and very cool pattern. They don't crossbreed with any other shrimp, but they're still Caridina shrimp. You should be able to breed them in both Neo and Caridina. There was somebody that bred these, and they just got out of them, and everybody that they sold them to just didn't do very well. And I had only gotten mine on imports, and when he had his available, I just didn't have tank space. But I wish I could go back in time and get those now. And I got some crazy blues, and then the Stardust, really nice coloration there. The Aurora blue tigers, look how nice those things were looking. And then Tybee, Super Tiger, Tybee, not Pinto, Tybee, low grade blue steel. That's we're making them from scratch. Red Tybee. Just got somebody commenting on our photo. And then there's a golden dragon, the black calcio, or red calcio. I'm sorry. No yawning on the screen. That's strike one. 2 more strikes and you get kicked out. You're gonna put all these people to sleep, buddy.
Wait, was the other one black dragon?
Golden dragon or red calcio. It's the same thing. Cardinal shrimp, mystery snail, blue velvet with a little bit of orange pigment on the back. And I do believe we have some of those still that I'd like to work with. Stardust always got a mixed range of coloration when they're pregnant. I saw that. That was on number 2, wasn't it?
No.
It was. That's strike 2.
No.
I heard it.
No.
Look at these Aurora blue tigers, Layla.
Those
Aren't these pretty?
I already had that red.
Yeah. Is that your hit list? Because you can cross that one off.
Well, I gotta find it around the house.
You're that's 2.5 strikes. I'm warning you.
It's not my fault I put a water on the bottom of the floor.
I meant one time when I'm bored, I have something to do. Look for how many Dragon Balls there are, and if I can find these in the house, these shrimp names, and I can test myself.
Okay. Some red wines, red steel, ghost, bees, red wine, blue steel, black King Kong. I think this is now with the new camera, starting to take some of these photos. So a lot of those photos could have been Shelby's as well. And this was a tank that we had on top of the refrigerator for a long time. Ooh, I didn't mean to. Can you grab it?
Yeah.
All right. Good save. And then I forget where I escaped this tank for.
It's kind of cool.
Can't remember where. That ended up going somewhere though. Nice little pattern.
I like it.
Laterite clay for some substrate. Nutrients. Oh man, starting to get tired myself. You're putting me to sleep, Jada. This is all your fault.
I'm not sleepy at all.
I feel like it's like another hour.
I really like the way these chocolates look with the multicolor. It's kind of like a red and a black.
I would
then-
call that Spider-Man.
The blue velvet still, red really, and then more puppies. And then our dog doesn't look that big on screen, but behind him is a 55-gallon tank. So, and this was when he was like, I don't know, a year and a half. So he has gotten a little bit bigger than that. But these other ones are from the
If you didn't,
second batch of puppies.
if you knew he wasn't deaf, like if he wasn't deaf, you wouldn't call him shrimp.
I'd still call him shrimp.
Every time you say shrimp, he'll come over. It would be annoying. You would get mad at everything.
It is what it is. And then holding him, so that's how big he is compared to me.
So adorable.
Green jades. Really starting to work on this line. All right, final page, and then you guys are gonna get off and go get ready for bed. No, I'm gonna do that on my own without the distractions. And you guys gotta go get ready to bed. It is getting way too late for both of you. So, and then this is where we got back from Global. We escaped a bunch of tanks for Denarily, and instead of taking money, we took product. And then on top of that, they wanted us to test out a bunch of stuff too. So we got a lot of substrate and a lot of foods and other things as well. We got a vampire crab from that Global. It was an import and didn't really do that well. And then we brought home a ton of pink flamingo tissue culture cups. So this is the original farm tank. More puppy photos, more shrimp photos. This is Shelby's petrified woodscape.
Looks nice. I like it.
And then I escaped this tank. This is one of our first videos we set up on the channel. I escaped this tank for a Cobalt video review. The only problem with this was this filter was like overkill for this little tank, so was not good for little shrimp. But I did really like the look of this tank. Like even still today, with the right plants, I think this is a really nice little nano tank setup. And then I really like this tank setup also. The path needs to be changed, but I really like the hardscape layout. Filling the 55 up with water, crazy blue, and then a little finished scape here. I believe Shelby scaped this one with the holy rock, and then starting to put some plants into that scape. The Aurora Blue Tigers. Oh, weren't they pretty, Layla?
Yeah, those are pretty colors.
Yeah.
I thought it was 10, 15.
You probably thought they were so pretty that they were just hungry and they wanted some quesadilla, right?
Why would you think that?
Because she threw a quesadilla in their tank.
Okay, can we just forget about that?
No, we're never going to forget about the
Mr.
quesadilla.
Big getting shrimp names.
Well, what's the name of that shrimp?
I don't know any shrimp.
Tank tie. You know plenty of shrimp.
I didn't add that to my list.
Oh.
Who is that?
Those are from the second batch of puppies.
Do you want to keep that one?
We wanted to keep them all, Jaden, but we were responsible, and we only bred this group of puppies because we had a bunch of police officers that wanted more puppies because two of the first puppies that went adopted from the first group that were not Shrimp and Thea went to police officers, and then the rest of the force was like, oh, we want these dogs, we want these dogs. So you knew we had homes for most of these before we even bred them out, but they were adorable. And then another metal rack, and more puppies. Ah, they are. They're adorable. And a bunch of Tivys. Orange Eye Blue Tiger. Green Jades. Shrimp and Thea used to be that cute too.
I know, and one of them pooped on me.
One of them peed on me.
All right, guys. All your friends just saw that.
No,
Yeah.
they barely.
I told Caleb to watch tonight. You're going to be on. You know, Caleb will tell all
that's
the
a
other
lie.
kids. So,
Cat.
I've got a great story about this rack. Shelby agreed that I could go to Home Depot and get a 4-foot rack for this corner of the bedroom if our budget allowed it of $75. Well, I went there and this rack was on sale for $75. So I built it, set it up, and got it almost all done before Shelby realized what was going on. And she said, there's no way that's going to fit. And I said, not only is it going to fit, but it will fit 2 of them. More tanks from Petco. But yeah, we'll fit 2 of them. And then she tried to argue, well, we don't have anywhere for the TV. And I was like, well, I'll make one rack slightly smaller than the other rack. And yeah, then we fit 2 more racks in the bedroom.
I missed that controller stand thing. It's a good one.
But these are definitely from the new camera, from the D500, not from the other one that was posted before. We've got some aqua clear tanks. Tanks on the bottom row already filled up, 20 gallons. Another metal rack for the house. Like one of our last videos that we did, there's no more metal racks. So looking at all of these, it's just, I wish I had just spent the time and built the racks, but Brightwell needed us to test product. As you can see, there's product right there that doesn't even have labels because we're testing that out for them. But lots of substrates, aqua tops. They wanted me to do a saltwater tank series and never even got into that. Ended up having to use that tank for the flood. I'll talk about that later. One of the Pintos came out looking like this, which was really weird. It wasn't a Ghost Bee cross, and it didn't stay looking like that either. Thought I had some yellow Rillies going, Blue Dream, Red Tiger, Pure Red Line, Red Tibies, Blue Steel, Red Pure Red Line, Red Tibie, Spotted Black Pinto Shrimps, lots of spotted blacks. And then the cave, the Pogos Helpherize really growing out. black king Kong, crystal black shrimp. This tank's really growing out. Tybee, super red crystal shrimp. You got super red crystal shrimp down. This tank's filling out. We've got, so these oranges, you can tell by the speckling, come from Singapore. No. Yeah. No, not Singapore. I'm sorry. Maybe. I'm getting it confused because Benite is from Singapore. It's not from Singapore. Indonesia. So the shrimp from Indonesia will have the yellows and oranges will have this like opaque spotting, thicker shell on them, and it comes off over time with water changes. So I think there's something in the water that's giving them this coloration. None of the babies come out looking like this yet.
What was the shrimp?
Which one? Oh, super red crystal.
Yes.
Aurora Tybee, and then we got some sexy shrimp. These were for the smaller tank. It's the name of them, buddy.
No, I'm gonna add that to my list.
I think there's some zebra baboltes or some.
Are they
No, these are
frozen in ice?
some blue star shrimp that ended up just being blue wild neocardina. What'd you say?
Are they frozen in ice?
No, it's just like a little mesh that they're on. And then you got some micro crabs. Can't remember what kind of crabs those were. And then you got a bunch of different trumpet snails and devils. This is not a rescue. It's obviously a turtle, Layla. We were babysitting this for my buddy. He had a hurricane come through his town and poured water through his windows, and they had to totally re-renovate the entire house. And he needed someone to hold down some of his turtles, so we got the albino soft shell, the mata mata, and then a bunch of the Stardust shrimp. Another picture of the sexy shrimp. That was going to be it. So you guys go to bed, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining me on the live stream.
Bye,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
10. These. These. And these.
Well, we'll see how many of them you can find tomorrow.
Baby, you want to do a scavenger hunt?
All right. So I am just going to try and jump into screen here and jump into chat. Whatever questions anybody has to bring up, anything like that, I will just start off fresh and try and keep up with chat. So how's it going, everybody? Hello. And thank you for staying patient with me and taking a step back into a little history about ourselves. And yeah, it is spring break. The kids don't have a bedtime like they usually do on Monday nights because they got school the next day. So they are still awake, and it's hard for kids to be quiet on spring break and not interrupt the live stream and not want to play video games and stuff like that. And this is where Jaden plays all of his video games. And so I've kind of taken over his spot, and thought I'd share it with him tonight. So anybody has any questions or anything like that, we got J-Dub. Any highlights from Global? So Global was a lot of fun. The aquatic section gets smaller and smaller every single year. However, it does seem like there are a few that rotate. So even though some of them weren't there, there were a couple that were there for the first time. We got to see Higer. Now, a lot of people do videos for Higer and reviews and stuff like that. They've reached out to us before in the past. They've got a bunch of different products. They've actually come a long ways. If you looked at some of their products in the very beginning to what they're actually producing now, the packaging and everything like that at Global was upgraded and stuff like that too. We kind of have one goal in mind that I'd really like to get done here in the next, I don't know, 6 months to a year, is get a magnetic scraper for every single one of the tanks. So that way we don't have to clean any scrapers in between tanks, and you can just do a water change, stick the siphon into the tank, scrape the tank as you're draining water. A lot of that dust and algae should go straight into the siphon, and it'll just be easier this way. I think the tanks will stay more pristine, and if I ever want to just take a picture, it's just real quick. Let's give it a quick wipe down and snap. I believe we got a better photo. I've got to pick another question. What is global? So, Global Pet Expo, it's like the trade show of all trade shows for pets. There's another one in Las Vegas, and there's a bigger one in Germany, but it's basically every single brand of dog food, dog collars, cat food, cat collars, uh, dog bath stations, water bowls, uh, fish, everything, uh, stuff for kangaroos and ferrets, and like any type of pet basically product is showcased at this show, and it's for pet stores and online stores to come and order their product, see it firsthand. We posted a bunch of bowls and little tiny micro tanks that Fluval just came out with. So those were showcased at the show for pet stores to potentially go and buy them. And if they order enough of them, then that product will be launched. So I think it's safe to say that the bowls that we posted, those are a go. A lot of stores really like those, and they'll be carrying those. So there's things like that going on, but it's got a little area in the center for Florida fish farmers. So there's a bunch of tanks and aquariums on display. That's where we posted the glowfish, the angels. So it's like a little bit of a display for the farmers. It's free for them, so pet stores can come by and figure out who's got what kind of fish or plants and stuff like that, so they can order it for their stores. And then on top of that, you've got companies like Carib Sea and Fluval, Sarah, and Ocean. Oh man, Instant Ocean was not the one I'm trying to go for. Ocean Nutrition, there you go. And a bunch of other different companies. Aqua L was there, and they're just trying to showcase their products to try and get into different stores and whatnot. So we also at Higer though. We were trying to get scrapers, so we were trying to figure out prices if we were going to buy 500 of them or potentially get a sponsor or something like that. And they did just give us a scraper to test out, to try out. It does have the razor blade. I gotta still open the box and check it out if it has like the pad on the back. I think I prefer a pad over the razor blade style. But it was nice of them to give us one to try out. And then we scaped all the tanks for Fluval, so that was cool. But they did have and we're going back to highlights. They did have the new Aqua Clears that had the little self-leveling feature into them. So I thought that was really neat to have. We went back to Josh's Frogs. Josh's Frogs was there the year before, but we're thinking about carrying maybe some Indian almond leaves and some springtails and other things like that they carry. So talked to them and got to meet Josh that started Josh's Frogs. And he's a real cool guy. So that was one of the highlights, getting to meet him. And he's just a really enthusiastic guy. Really cool to meet someone who's kind of like started just like us, who's now got a really thriving and booming company. So that was definitely a highlight. Over at the ZoomEd booth, they've got a bunch of steampunk aquarium decorations coming out, as well as their own line of rimless aquariums. So those are cool. Always enjoy going over to the Zoom Ed booth. And then we ended up going around and talking to a few of those fish farm vendors to try and get some donations for our Aquarium Club of Pasco County. Our annual auction is next week. So if you have an online store or fish store in general, wholesale business, or you breed fish at all and you want to donate to that cause, you can send some shrimp, fish, whatever you want to our annual auction, and all the proceeds go to help us keep the club going and speaker accommodation and fees and stuff like that. So also, the Aqua booth had a lot of nice aquariums and scapes by our buddy JJ. So check those out. Also, might be doing a high-end Caradina tank with some of their filters, inspired by Plamsky's setup that we just had to sadly tear down. But that was the last video we posted. If you haven't seen that, highly recommend you check that out. And then we have the Aquatop booth. Nothing really special there, but like they did have the cheapest price for the scrapers at the place. Other than Aqueon does have like the cheapest ones if you just buy them straight through Amazon. But I might be able to get the Aquatops a little bit cheaper than that if I have to buy them. So that's pretty much the highlights that I have of Global. But it was a good show. And just doing the tanks for Fluval and Carib Sea made it worth it in the first place. How's it going, Jesse? Hope you're doing well. Brandon wants more tanks now. Glad to hear. You can never have enough aquariums. If I use Caradino water change water, and add it to crushed coral, will that make enough KH for Neos? No, I don't think so. You're definitely not going to want to recycle the water. I don't know what has or in the water exactly for shrimp, but like doing a water change, there's something in the parameters that we don't test for that is just beneficial to just swapping the water out and replacing it with something all brand new. And you're better off like recycling it, feeding it to your plants, and then just getting tap water for the Neos. So awesome. The Petco sale is still going on. I can see that's what we're doing tomorrow with the kids. Yes, it was in Orlando, Florida. About time to shave. Yeah, no, it's definitely getting warm, and I'll have to shave, or else I can't stand collecting out in the Florida weather. Just noticed a red algae two of my tanks. Is this something to worry about, and how do I address it? So photos are always beneficial. There is some like green, brown, purple algae on the side of the aquarium that when you do some water changes, it can die off and it can look purplish or reddish. So if you just did a water change, it should be nothing to worry about. Or maybe you got some red moss. I've got a two-parter here. One, I wanted to add some Sawasser. Good idea. Depends what you already have in the tank. I like to keep Sawasser in the tank all by itself because if you have a Nubis or Bobitis, some of those real slow-growing plants, the Sawasser tends to grow on those, and then you kind of lose the other plants in it. So Sawasser for their own tanks is definitely ideal. And is it good to attach the moss to the mesh screen? So I'm not a big fan of attaching moss to anything. If you want to wedge it into like a little crevice of some wood or rocks or something like that, that's great. But like tying it down to mesh never really worked for me, and it grows a lot more algae than it does moss. I'd rather just throw it in and let it grow and not attach itself to substrate and other things like that. Every single time you live stream, you make me want another type of shrimp. Now tonight, you made me want a shrimp that's impossible to get, the leopard tigers. Well, I'm sorry, but maybe you'll stumble across somebody that has them. I don't really pay attention to like what a lot of the other importers have and other shrimp sellers sell. So like maybe somebody will bring them in, but hopefully we'll see them again in the future. They're a wild type shrimp. Hopefully they're not an extinct shrimp. How many aquariums do you think you need to finish? I need 35, and then Lucas Brett said he has 15 of them for me. So I need at least 20. At least 20. So, all right. I'm all caught up in chat. If anybody has any more questions, I'd be glad to answer them. Let me just try and bring up the giveaway tool. I've never done this before. Bear with me. Create a giveaway. All right. So hashtag TGOE create. I believe I did this. All right. Now, somebody enter so I can refresh. See how many entries they have. Hashtag TGOE. And we're going to do a giveaway here. Congrats on the 20K. Thank you. Should have done a giveaway last week, but we were unable to. So instead of one $25 gift card, we are going to give away just one $50 gift card. I'm sorry. I totally butchered that. Instead of two $25 gift cards, we're going to give away one $50 gift card. So hashtag TGOE and send that out to someone tonight. Thank you for bearing with me. Shelby usually handles all this stuff, and if you're wondering where Shelby is, she's not feeling well tonight. So I gave her the night off, Matt. Just don't get on me about that. I don't know if Matt's even here. I haven't even seen him. I see Fish Family, but Matt doesn't do the dirty work for that. All right, shrimp are all about concentrating genetics, so you don't need new blood. Not necessarily. There's like some type of law or theory or whatever it's called, where if you start with 50 of one type of animal, you shouldn't have to worry about inbreeding. Even I think with a colony of shrimp of like 20 to 30 of them, I wouldn't really be too worried about inbreeding. And a lot of the higher end lines of shrimp are like pure red lines that have just been inbred over and over and over again to work on a certain trait or remove a certain trait. So it's not necessarily a bad thing with shrimp. I'm going to keep doing it until I get some two-headed Alabama shrimp or something like that. The best Caridina beginner shrimp is going to be a Tangerine Tiger. If you want something a little bit more on the B side, you can get any Tibes would be pretty well off. Some Tang Thai obviously would have more tiger genetics, more Tangerine Tiger in them, and be a little bit more hardy. But crystal shrimp are also good beginners. All right, so we got some entries. I refresh it. All right, 33 people entered. I did something right tonight. All right, just got 13 10-gallon tanks. Any suggestions for Neo projects? So if you don't have yellows, reds, blues, of both colors, so like a light blue and a dark blue, or a really or blue dream and blue diamond, doesn't matter, but blue is popular enough that you should have 2 tanks of blues. And greens, I would get a green of each, and then reallys, you can, you know what I mean. Those are definitely projects because they take the most amount of culling. But I never really recommend snowballs or black rose or chocolates or orange. Every other Neocaridina is a good recommendation. Those 4 are just not the best sellers. Wild, of course, is never a good recommendation unless you're trying to do feeders. Then they just outbreed and work a little bit better for that. All right. Thank you, everyone, for entering and all your support. Thought I saw Shelby coming over. It's a tease. Somebody else walked behind me. Yeah, hopefully she starts feeling better. I'm sorry. Give me another state that's safe. I can't do other countries. It's got to be inside the United States. Alabama's just my go-to. Nothing against people from Alabama. All right. Yeah, so the GMO angels, the glow angels, they're not dyed, they're not tattooed or anything like that. They inject an embryo inject the embryo with DNA from corals that glow and have that same fluorescent to them. So the fish do it, and then they breed them out for the homozygous lines, so that way they breed true and they don't have to cull them and they can mass produce them. Passing Wind says I don't recommend snowballing either. Yeah, those lines of shrimp just they don't sell very well. When it comes to like the best selling Neocaridina, reds are always going to sell better than any other color. They just pop, and it's like one of those shrimp that people see them before they see every other shrimp. They're just more common. They're more known. Then right behind red, I would say blue, and then yellow, and then maybe green would sell more than the other 3 if we could produce more greens. But they throw so many culls that it's just not easy to stay on top of it because you get one ugly one to produce and all of the babies come out ugly. So you just got to stay really on top of culling and stay strict with it. Anybody have any more questions? I'm going to spin the wheel here in a second, give you guys a couple more minutes to enter into the giveaway. We've got still only 33 people entered, so I think maybe everybody entered that wants a gift card. But yeah, other than that, spring break, we did bring home 2 tanks from Global, so I did not count those as part of the tanks for the contest, but they are the cube, the rimless ones. They are the Aquaflora, so we'll have to figure out something to do with that. We also brought home some substrate. Some of it was like a pea gravel style from Carib Sea. It wasn't from the Carib Sea booth. It was from the Fluval booth that was left over, and it was open, so they didn't want to worry about shipping it around and it busting open and making a mess. So I grabbed that. The only reason why I want that is because I want to do a budget tank where I go back to one of our very first aquariums where I had just like the very cheap air pump. I'm probably going to see if we can't find like an air pump off of Temu and just try and get the cheapest air pump, the cheapest sponge filter, pea gravel from Home Depot, or sand is always super cheap. You can get free sand sometimes from your backyard, but this is just free substrate from a show. So I'm going to do a budget tank, buy a 10-gallon aquarium from Petco. Of course, if you can do free or something like that, that would be, the best budget, cheapest aquarium you could possibly do. But I just want to go back and do like a budget aquarium, and then on the other end do a high-end Caradina tank, and that's where we went to the Aqua booth to piece together a couple things. I want something that's going to look really nice too. So, yeah, got two different things going on. Probably going to do a video on the Opa Ula here soon, since those have been selling like hotcakes, and it is time to fill up their tank once again. So I probably going to do like a little species spotlight video on the Opa Ula, and hopefully at the same time we can get to building the stand in Shelby's fish room. All right, this is it. Final chance, refresh. I saw one entry, two entries. All right, so here we go. We got to share the screen. That's not the right one. So hold on. Sorry. So I appreciate Shelby so much. All right. Last chance. Good luck, everybody. And
Daniel Velez.
Congratulations, Daniel. Make sure you're still there. Just wanted to say one more thing since it came up. That was a song from our one and only Myrtle. It's not even the right way to say it. Myrtle. Rika made a video the other day on how that's not the right way to say it. He's just one of those people in the Fish Fam group that was in every stream. He supported everyone. Really brilliant guy. Was always one of the first ones to laugh at some of my jokes. Some of them aren't the best, and it takes a little bit of knowledge and something like that for some of them. And Myrtle was always the first one to laugh, and he's always such a great guy. And sadly, he's no longer with us, and the Fish Fam has lost a really, really big hole in the middle of it. So, man, I hate to end on that, but it is his music, and it reminded me of it. So, hope he's looking down, watching the stream still. And yeah, thank you everybody for supporting us and watching us. And just know that we all love you guys. The support that everyone does, it's always appreciated. And yeah, thank you, Zen, for dropping that link. But that's going to do it for this week, guys. Appreciate every single one of you. And until next week, we'll wrap up the end of the Blast to the Past, and we'll have a little bit of extra going on, and hopefully Shelby will be there to join us. So thank you, guys. See you next week.